Good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. here. My schedule has completely flipped on its head because my Planet Fitness that I do my fasted cardio at is doing maintenance until 9:30. So you get me in the morning with my glasses. Um, so this video was prompted by Doc Hank's live stream with Dr. Brandeis. He's the inventor of the P-Long protocol. Basically, he says with a mix of nitric oxide boosters, mainly P shot, that's PRP for your penis, for those who are uninitiated, stretching and pumping, you can gain, what, eighth, wait, was 3/4 of an inch in 6 months. That is fantastic, right? And like on the surface, I would tend to agree with him because I'm a firm believer in PRP. But when I heard him start talking about this stuff, is when I kind of have blew a little fit in my head. Okay, so we're just gonna give like a play-by-play. And this video is obviously very low effort. I'm still working on a new video style format, so you're gonna have to deal with the face cam and streaming software for the time being. Let's start with my first nitpick, and it starts with rest. Okay, and I could have done a much better job explaining this. So Doc Hank asked about the need for rest days and what Dr. Brandeis thought. Dr. Brandeis had this weird ass connection to Mother Nature, if I'm gonna be honest. Since Mother Nature never takes a break, you don't need a break. That is like the least scientific answer possible, right? I could give you 15 different reasons why you need to give rest to a tissue if you're trying to make it strong, healthy, and in our case, bigger. So I'm just going to give you what my recommendation is that you need 3 to 5 working sessions a week, depending on how quickly you recover from your sessions. Now, some of you guys are going to be able to do every day, but it really depends on your volume. That's why Hank has results. His volume is perfect to do every day, is what I've noticed. Also, Hank does take breaks, believe it or not. It's just not like a weekly schedule. He does like deconditioning breaks, but it's not because he plans them, but because he gets so busy, he has to like stop doing PE for a bit. I think he just started like doing PE hardcore for the past 2 or 3 months again. Like beforehand, he was too busy to like keep up with it. So he's kind of doing a deconditioning break schedule, which I recommend to begin with. And Hank, if I'm wrong, just let me know and we can talk about it eventually on a collab or something. But and I don't think Hank denies rest is important. I just don't think he thinks it's as important as I think it is. But that's like the biological reason, is that since we're trying to remodel tissue, we need to give it time to remodel. But the logistical reason, if I'm telling you that you can do 4 days a week and get the same results as someone doing it 7 days a week, what would you rather do? Right? It's pretty simple. Most of you guys would do 4 days a week. Now, I get the I guess the psychological appeal of doing it every day, but like there's not much evidence to suggest that doing it every day is beneficial compared to 4 days a week. This has not been tested scientifically, and it's probably never going to be tested scientifically. So all we can do is go off anecdotal evidence. Now, Dr. Brandeis came to the conclusion that more work is going to lead to more results based off of 2 studies on extenders. So basically, these individuals would be wearing either the Phallicin Forte or the Restore X for, what was it, like 6 to 8 hours a day. Ridiculous amount. You're basically spending your entire working period of the day wearing an extender. Most of us can't do that. So there's a few flaws with these studies. First, they were paid by the device manufacturers themselves, so they're going to try to make their device look as best as possible. But the RestoreX study was saying like what, 0.7 in 6 months or 0.6 in 6 months, something like that. And then the Phallicin was saying like 1.8 inches in 6 months, which if you guys have been around the block with PE, you know that's fucking ridiculous, right? It's all marketing. Like these studies are literally paid to be part of their marketing campaign. So you can't really use them as good data when we're talking about this like unobjectively. Now, Dr. Brandeis is also kind of buddy-buddy with a lot of people in this field that make these devices, so he's going to get these biases from these people that he works with. It's pretty common no matter what. Like, I have biases as well. Like, I only take Hank and Perv's word, like, seriously, because we're friends outside of this. So, like, just off the bat, the P-Long study has issues with its own, like, backbone theory that more is more. Additionally, I don't even think the P-Long protocol is that crazy. It was 15 minutes of pumping twice a day, and then you wear the Restore X for like 40 minutes. So, like, we're talking like the newbiest of newbie routines in a vacuum, because like my newbie routine is for devices. I'm just going to give you stuff out of my book. It's like you want to do 30 minutes total under tension, and then you want to do some kind of expansive work for like 10 minutes total every day. That's for length. And I do need to start porting this stuff over to like YouTube and Reddit and stuff, so give me time, guys. But it's really not that insane, the amount of work they were doing, and it's really not that far off of my like actual expectations from natural penis enlargement without the P-Long protocol. So I gotta take my supplements, and I will continue afterwards. I need to do a better job of doing product spots, so I'm gonna be taking my supplements on camera for you guys. Now, before I started Leviathan with Hank, I never really took supplements. It's just like, I thought it was a waste of money. All right, 6 down. But Hank really like made me rethink this entire thing, just because I actually did stick to vitality and virility for a long time, and like I've already noticed a difference. And guys, I'm like on testosterone, so like the fact that these have an effect on me is huge. Basically, I don't take it for the same reasons you guys take, except for virility. Virility is, you know, the cum load holy grail. I take it because I take a bunch of other stuff. Did I just take Force Stanch? Yeah. No, I take virility for the same reason you guys take it, but that's just, you know, for cum loads and everything like that, right? But it also improves my sexual sensitivity, so like my sex is more pleasurable for me. Then same idea with vitality, particularly with Shilajit, since it increases blood flow to the genitals, you get more sensitivity. Then what I'm trying now is Sustanch, to bring even more blood flow to the genitals. And then finally, the Mania, same idea, more blood flow to the genitals. So this is a pet project of mine. But so even with virility and vitality, I'm seeing differences like to my own like sexual performance and like how good I feel, even though I'm on testosterone. So like if it affects me, and someone who's going to be down-regulated hormonally speaking, like production-wise, just imagine what it can do for you. Now, this was the death bell of the P-Long study to me, and that is that, one, he had his patients measure themselves. So, like, there's a few reasons that's a huge issue. First, he did not care if they did bone-pressed or non-bone-pressed. If we're talking about science, like good, clean science, ethical science, sorry. But so if we're talking about good, clean science, we need to remove as many variables as possible. If we're talking a 6-month period, weight loss and weight gain is quite common in 6 months. Like, speaking from experience, my fat pad was a half an inch 6 months ago. 3 months ago, it was an inch, and now it's a half an inch again because I lost weight in that time period. Your body can fluctuate that much in 6 months. So if these individuals were allowed to track non-bone press, they lost weight, they gained a half an inch, that's going to skew the data a ton, even if they did gain outside of like visible length gains through, you know, fat loss. Another thing is that they were told to get to about the same erection level each time. So like, this can go to 2 factors. Let's say they didn't have very good erection quality to begin with. If they got to the same amount of erect beforehand, they are actually leaving proof on the table that the P-Long study works, right? So that's why Hanks kind of moved to this idea that we want to be looking inside a pump under pressure, and I've started implementing this into my own logs just for like a sanity check, that we want to be about the same pressure for about the same time, and that's going to lead to the same amount of like tissue expansion, showing you changes in tissue performance and tissue size. So in a perfect study, which the P-Long clearly isn't at this point, you would want to do some kind of static pressure hold to measure like total penile mass increase, and then you would want to do like a drug induced erection at the beginning of the study and at the end of the study to ensure that there were gains. I believe they actually did this in the RestorX study. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm like a believer in PRP. I don't believe in the P-Long study. I've done PRP 3 or 4 times at this point, and this time around, I did not see as much gains as I did the first time. And there's a few reasons for that. One, just like last time I did it, I got sick right after doing PRP, but it was not nearly as bad. It was just a head cold, not COVID. My expected rate of gain was skewed. Like I put on a lot of size after I was not sick. So like 3 or 4 weeks after getting sick, I literally like went up a quarter of an inch in girth. In my own experience, PRP works. Is it worth the price tag that you do the P-Long protocol with it? In my opinion, there are so many more efficient ways to do penis enlargement. But if you're trying to do an FDA approved like protocol, you need to use FDA approved devices. So like you're going to be very limited in your choice. You can't, sorry Ben, but you can't get the male hanger and use that. You're not FDA approved, right? So like even though there's clearly more effective devices on the market, like the Apex male hanger, peak male physique vacuum cups, all that kind of shit, you can't use them in an FDA study. And Hank might not like this take, but I'm kind of just done dealing with FDA approved thoughts and everything like that, just because the reasoning that something is not FDA approved can be as simple as there's already something on the market that covers the symptoms without having any benefit beyond that. So like I'm not exactly sure on the specifics, but like there's rumors that there's this hair loss peptide, I'm just going to call it RU right now, that could not get FDA approval because finasteride works in a relatively similar way, but it received approval first, therefore RU was not allowed to be brought to market or something like that. Again, I don't know much about medical law and FDA approvals, but my understanding of the U.S. medical system, that sounds very accurate, protect the money. But anyway, we're starting to ramble a bit. What I was saying is that there's definitely more effective ways to do this. And then this is my final issue with the P-Long study, and I talked about this on a live stream on April, is that it just seems like a way to sell all of his friends' equipment. So like the RestorX, one of his friends. Joey Kaplan pumps, one of his friends. He sells his own nitric oxide boosters, which is another huge part of this apparently. And then he's the one that administers the P shot, and then he has like 60 different locations now to do the P-Long protocol. So, I'm not a betting man, but if all your friends are involved in your like study, and you all make a lot of money off of this, are you not going to try to paint it in the best light? And he kept bringing up like how crazy effective Xyliflex was at making money. So for those that don't know, Xyliflex is like a FDA approved Peyronie's disease treatment. Essentially, it's an enzyme that they take from a bacteria that eats collagen. They inject that enzyme into your penis, and then they make you do some stretching like 1 or 2 weeks afterwards, because like your penis is going to be very sensitive following it, and that's going to cause the collagen that's causing your Peyronie's to break down, and you can get a lot straighter penis in a short amount of time. However, it is crazy expensive. It's like, I think he said like 5 to 10,000 for one Xyliflex treatment, and then every treatment after is going to be like 5 to 10,000, right? So he was saying that Xylaflex pulls in billions of dollars. And I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I kind of knew this was going to be his shtick the entire time. I'm not going to really talk about, like, I guess I can talk about it too. Another issue, this stream got me worked up, guys. I couldn't fall asleep last night because of it, is that he was calling this micro tears. And if you know, like, Hank made me see the light. I used to call it micro tears too. But, like, from a physiotherapy sense, micro tears are sprains. So, like, an ankle sprain is a micro tear. We are not spraining our penis. What we are doing is, Hank just calls it elongation and stretching. I call it fatigue. So, like, what we're doing at the most basic level, and he got this part right, like Dr. Brain just got this part right, is we are tearing. See, I did it again. What we're doing is we are pulling apart collagen peptide. So there's little hydrogen bonds in every protein structure that keeps the shape of the protein. With tension, with heat, and with like a whole bunch of different things, you can break apart these hydrogen bonds and then the protein unravels. Okay? That does not sound like tearing to me, right? It is called denaturing of a protein. That's when it goes back to its like amino acid chain form. Now, if you fully rupture that chain, you have to rebuild the entire peptide. But if you just break apart those hydrogen bonds, a stem cell can come in and fold it back together. And then part of that adaptation response is like, oh shit, this is fucked. Okay, let me build a few more to make sure that this tissue is going to be better able to handle the load again. That is the basis of penis enlargement. Fatigue, stimulus, growth. Okay, it's that simple. A little bit of fatigue leads to the stimulus of the repair and overproduction of collagen, which leads to growth. And maybe I'm just like, I'm filming, Hank. Maybe I'm just like full of myself, but like I would just expect a doctor to like, you know, makes his livelihood off of this stuff to kind of understand the healing process is what he was trying to do. And this was one of Hank's issues too. It's like he was not able to get like a good scientific breakdown of what's actually happening when we are doing PRP and the P-long study. So like he wanted to know like at a cellular level what was going on, like what hormones are responsible for what, how does the PRP help this. And like, truth be told, I did a fucking better job of explaining this in 3 videos on PRP. So I'm not saying Dr. Brandis doesn't know his shit. I think he was trying to dumb it down for us, but he was also not realizing how much we already know. And that does rub me the wrong way a bit. How long is this video gone? 17 minutes. All right.